So last time, you, the party, had made it to M'bala, a ruined city standing on the edge of a 1,500 foot high plateau that overlooked the Aldani Basin. You had entered the city, discovering something had killed and eaten all of the villagers, leaving their bleached skulls at the entrance to this city. You had approached cautiously towards the only building left standing. But before advancing all the way, you had been met with mixed emotions as your dwarven friend, Mr. T, said he needed to leave. He needed to return back to Camp Vengeance and to help the evacuating soldiers there escape, feeling it to be his responsibility. You had kind of not overly liked the idea of him leaving, but you had decided to begrudgingly allow him to go, wondering if you would ever see him again. But there was more important matters on hand, and that was dealing with Nanny Poo Poo, the only living being apparently left alive in M'bala. In talking with her, you guys quickly realized that she was not what she seemed, and you dealt with her accordingly, discovering that she was a hag who also had used all of the last remaining living individuals of M'bala to create a flesh golem, who you also bested. After the fight, you guys noticed a few additional arrows that none of you had fired, and thereby you had met Galindin, a wood elf who had been living in M'bala as well, waiting for a chance to beat Nanny Poo Poo. Galindin, you joined with the party, especially after discovering that the rest of the party here was here in Chult to destroy the Soulmonger, a necromantic artifact killing all who had ever been resurrected in the past. The party then left M'bala, destroying Nanny Poo Poo's house and leaving it a total ruin. And you pushed on towards Orolunga, intent on finding the seer there that Selenia had been told about days and days ago in Port Nyanzaru. The 6-day journey to Orolunga was fairly uneventful. The party very cleverly skirting around or leaving alone friendly dinos and apes, but most disturbingly, cannibals who feasted on zombies, the living eating the dead for a change. Finally, you had arrived at the end of your quest. The ruined city of Orolunga stood before you, a stepped ziggurat at its center. You had approached, and you had needed to ascend the steps, which you very quickly discovered the steps and this entire ziggurat alone were shrouded in magic. Runa, you ended up finding chewingas. You ended up spotting chewingas that seemed to help you. The rest of the party didn't see them, but they seemed to direct you into how to get through these steps. First, carrying an orange and purple orchid in their hands as you stepped up the first set of steps. Then you had to grab a parrot feather, step up the second set of steps, and finally you had to antagonize a snake and then calm it into crawling into your mouth, down your throat, and into your bodies. All while experiencing strange, almost visions of the past. Sin, you had seen your wife again. Runa, you had seen your father and he had sung to you. Then you had been at home, back in Darkhold, Morthos back in Luskin, and Selenia back in Elturel. You had finally arrived at the top, and Runa, being the only one that can see it, you see that chewinga The one with the mongoose mask that you had been following up the last set of steps. It's holding the parrot feather and the flowers still in its hand, and it just runs into the darkness of the doorway of this simple brick shrine that seems to be built on the top of this ziggurat. And all on the outside of the ziggurat is carved these intricate designs of mazes and labyrinthian symbols. As you watch the Chewinga disappear from sight, all of you see a figure coming out. Everyone except Galinden recognizes this figure. He has shoulder-length brown hair and wears light leathers that end in fully fingered gloves that cover his hands completely. His rather pale skin, and you recognize him to be Artis. And he walks out with clear disappointment across his face. And that is where we will begin our tale for today. So, what do you do?
Greetings, I say, and look at Artis. We meet again.
He kind of looks up and he kind of goes, "Oh, it's you."
Expecting someone else?
He says, "No. I'm sorry, I'm not quite myself."
Are you all
going
right?
in? He says, "No. I didn't get the answers I was looking for."
But you did get some answers, right? From the seer or oracle?
He says, "Oh, sure. Absolutely. All she really told me was that I'd never see my wife again until the one that brings the sun comes to Chult."
I give Selenia a side eye. Very cowardly.
He says, "Well, I won't keep you. I best be getting down to Dragonbait."
Yeah, he's
And he just
waiting
kind of-
in the jungle.
And he just kind of very somberly walks down the steps.
Can I eye him up sort of as a warrior would? Like, whatever his weapons, what has he got, like, armor-wise?
Sure,
as he
roll a
walks by me?
perception check for me.
This is that awkward moment when you go on a vacation and find out that you don't have any dice.
Oh, no!
Yeah. So I can either use you, Kevin, if you want, or I can use an app on the internet. It's up to you.
I'll roll for you.
That's
Just
probably
so that
easier.
Got a natural roll.
Use the white die.
So you rolled a 12 plus whatever modifier you have.
+3.
All right, so 15 for the roll. The only thing you really note of weapons is he seems to have a dagger at his side. This dagger's hilt is kind of interesting. It ends in a blue pommel, a blue gem on the pommel, and the wrappings are made to look like the spine of a book.
Okay, I'll kind of clock that. Yeah.
Okay.
I also, as he's passing us, I say, I saw what you did to the wizard from Tay.
He says, "Oh,
We came across your handiwork. I guess it was your handiwork."
yeah, I guess it must have been."
What do you mean, you guess? Can't you remember annihilating a wizard in the midst of jungle with ice.
He says, a couple days in the last week that's a little hazy.
I look a bit closer at him. Is he sick, maybe? Does he have some form of jungle fever or something that he can't remember what he did last week?
Roll a medicine check.
Okay.
Can I put my hand on his shoulder and look at him like, sir, are you under the effects of any alchemical toxins or substances?
I rolled 22 on medicine.
22.
I rolled a
Okay.
15, yeah.
As you look, you don't see anything visibly alarming, except for the fact that his irises, which were always blue, now seem to almost have these thin glowing lines within them.
Glowing as it's a light color, not like the veins on Morthos's arm or something.
No,
This
it's
is
actually
different.
emitting a light from his eyes, just a very, very faint light from his eyes.
Okay.
That's not natural, right?
No, I don't think so. Maybe you are under the effect of a spell. You look a bit different than when we last met.
He says, I'll be fine. And when he says that, you guys can see that he visibly clenches his left hand. Like very, very, very tightly. Almost as if he's kind of willing back pain. You know what I mean? When you get that kind of really bad kind of headache or something and you just can't help but clench your hands as you're kind of trying to just give that pain to lessen.
I am a cleric of Kalimdor and a well-trained medic. If I can assist you in any way or form, take it as repayment for your assistance on the river when you helped us against those dinosaurs in the water. I'd be happy to oblige and heal you if you need healing.
He says, I don't know if it'd help, but you can give it a shot if you want.
Okay. I come over and I already wrote for medicine. I think I'm going to try my trusted lesser restoration. Even if it didn't work with Morthos last time. Do you have any symptoms besides the loss of memory?
Says, no.
You look like you're in pain. You clenched your hand just now.
Oh, it's fine. And he kind of blinks, and as he kind of opens his eyes at you, you see that light kind of seems to go away.
Okay.
It's almost like he got it to go away on its own.
I don't have it prepared, but I'm going to look over at Ven and Mortos. Is any one of you able or capable of seeing arcane or magical energies at the moment?
Yeah, I would like to make a check on that.
Because his eyes were glowing and now they're not glowing anymore. Maybe it's some form of magical disease or effect.
So, Ven, you just want to make an Arcana check, correct?
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's anything that might look magical or if this is anything that I've ever seen before.
Okay. Make an Arcana check.
That is a 24.
A 24. Okay, it's weird. because there doesn't really seem to be anything outwardly magical about him. He's very, very simple. He's a very, very simple looking person. All he really has on him is a dagger. But you all of a sudden become acutely aware that you're not sweltering anymore. You're not hot. It's like something is cooling you to be at like the temperature of a nice, perfectly air-conditioned room on a hot summer's day. You know, where you can feel the heat, but it's not bothering you because you're just at the right amount of coolness to kind of offset that heat. And you're getting that sensation now.
I mean, we do know that he's some form of ice mage, right? Because of what he did on the river and with the wizard of from Tay. You don't happen to have a magical tattoo on your arm or somewhere on your body that suddenly started growing or changing? Or something that is tying you to the magic you are using?
He says, "No, I don't have anything." And he just kind of crosses his arms, and then he just says, "I should be going."
Did the lesser restoration affect him at all?
Maybe.
What
are you trying to hide?
Oh yeah, let's make an insight check.
He just keeps walking away, and he just says, "Nothing. Nothing at all." You guys can make an insight check at that point.
I ask, where's he going? Where's he going now?
I rolled a 20 on insight, and I guess he's going to meet up with Dragonbait. We met him at the bottom of the ziggurat, right?
He shouts back up as he's now like halfway down the top flight of stairs, which by the way, he seems to walk through the snakes no problem. And he just says, "I'll be waiting down at the bottom when you're done. Might be best to camp with some company tonight."
We see you later.
With your insight check, Runa, you know he's absolutely full of shit and was hiding something.
As soon as he's out of earshot, I'm going to say that to the others. I call bullshit.
That was obvious.
Do we like him enough that we should stalk him?
Let's meet with him later. I think we don't know if the oracle is sitting inside there waiting for us come in. I don't want to keep her waiting, or him, or it, them, whatever.
That dagger does not seem normally crafted.
Yeah. He's under some form of magical influence, I'd say. Maybe his ice magic is out of control.
Those elemental types of magic can get quite destructive if the one wielding them.
If it was out of control, we'd be like that red wizard.
That's true.
Maybe correct. Just be on our guard around him. I know you know him, and my first encounter with the man, but
we only met him. We only met him once, but he helped us when we were in a prequel. So, and he didn't turn out to be UNT, so I'm in favor of helping him.
All right, well, we have our first redemption for today's stream. Everyone raise a glass, and let's cheers Exilium! All right, perfect. Once again, the party stands alone on the top of the ziggurat at Orolunga, facing the shrine that apparently holds a seer that will be able to help them.
Well, it was your contact to let us here, so I give Selenia a quick bow. After you.
Oh, you don't have to do that, Runa. Really pats you on the shoulder.
I insist.
She walks forward. She's gonna look at the doorway before she walks through.
I follow her.
Okay, interestingly enough, as you're kind of looking at the doorway, before you take those last few steps into the doorway, what you would imagine you would be able to kind of see into the shrine, you can't. There are no doors on this doorway, but all it is just this black hole kind of entering this building. And it's kind of strange that you can't see beyond it, even dimly, to see what's kind of in there.
Runa, what were the Chewingas using when we got up top here?
He was still holding the flowers and the feather and running full speed into the blackness in the doorway.
I look down at my hands and I look and I try and find those, and then I go full tilt into the wall.
Through the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Through the door.
So Galindin disappears into the blackness. There are now 5 of you only standing outside.
I'll go next.
Yeah, and I follow Selenia.
Ditto.
Just a quick question. There were labyrinths on the outside of the
Labyrinthian and maze-like symbols.
That's the symbol of Uptao, the god that.
Yep.
Right? That's the one who left, the one with the bleeding heart, that island or something.
100%. Okay, so that leaves Ven and Sin still outside. You've just
Sin's
watched all
not
your friends
scared.
disappear into blackness.
Sin's
Looks
not
like
scared.
home. And she walks in.
He walks in as well.
Okay, Sin, you break the blackness just a little bit before then. Galindin, you are back before the grandfather tree. The smell of the high forest fills your nose. But the grandfather tree, you can see, is sick. It's dying. Its leaves fall like rain around you. You can see that the light is breaking through its big canopy and kind of shows the rotting ground around the tree. What do you do? You're muted.
Go up to the grandfather tree's roots and try to peel off the sickness, if it's a tangible thing.
Okay, as you peel off the outer layer of the roots and branches, you see the roots actually begin to bleed, and they begin to ooze infection out of them. You feel one of these roots slither out of the ground and wrap around your ankle. And you hear this kind of very kind of deep but still wispy, creaking voice that just says, "What is balance?" And then darkness.
What is balance?
Selenia, you hear the ocean spray fill your nose. Sorry, fill your ears. You smell salt filling your nose. You can hear the creaking of the rigging of the ship as it plows through the waves. You're standing on a boat, strangely enough. You can see in the distance a city, kind of perched on the edge of a massive jungle. You recognize it. It's Port Nyanzaru. All of a sudden you hear, "My lord," and you kind of look back thinking, who's this person talking to me? And you look and you can see your mentor, your teacher, Lord Rayburton, standing there at the front of the ship. The other figure runs up to Lord Rayburton and he says, "My lord, we have arrived, as per your directions." He turns and looks back at this figure, and a smile creeps over his face. And he says, "Yes, indeed we have. It's good to be home." And then darkness. That fades away. Runa. The smell of Waterdeep fills your nose. The sounds of the hustle and bustle of the city, the ringing of many bells, the baking of fresh bread that you would buy every morning fills your nose. You're walking down the street, headed to the temple, as if any other day. You pass by, you can see that the old florist who was always there is still there, selling her flowers. And you remember always paying her way more than was needed for her flowers that you would buy every Friday. You can see the children so full of life and hope and the light of God's in their eyes as they walk past. It's like a regular day, just walking to the service, the church. You round the corner and horror meets your eyes. At least 100 people line the steps and the walkway leading up to the temple. You can see that they are sick and dying. As you watch, an old woman collapses against a wall, and as she collapses, you actually see her arm completely fall off, and you see her die right in front of you. Everywhere around you is death. You continue into the temple, and more death awaits you. You can see and hear the cries of families over loved ones. You continue forward to where your mother was always waiting, and there she is, still as beautiful and as strong as you remember. And she speaks to someone, reassuring them that all is well and that everything will be fine. We will get to you. Please, we're very tired. The person walks away, and your mother kind of goes into a back room of the temple. And as she goes into the back room, she leans up against a wall and nearly collapses. Another old cleric rushes forward, approaches, and you see him pick her up and sit her down, and then you see a new ring on her finger. Pure gold that glows with a radiant yellow light. The man says, "I don't know how much longer it will protect you. The curse has taken its hold of you as well." And your mother, fingering the ring, says, "Runa, where are you?" And then darkness. You think he's ever going to come back, Ralad? Morthos, a rock, skips across the ocean. "I'm not sure, Gwemma. I don't know where he went, and the last I knew, he had arrived in Baldur's Gate." A seagull cries overhead as you see your two friends standing at your favorite spot on the open shore of Luskan, where as kids you'd play and watch the ships come in and out. The sun is setting, painting beautiful colors across the sky. And for a moment, you just enjoy it. Enjoy hearing the rocks kind of skip out onto the ocean, the wash of the waves coming up onto the beach, the seagulls cry overhead. All of a sudden, an explosion happens behind them. You turn and you see a huge chunk of the Hoss Tower of the Arcane explodes and begins to fall. Spellfire blooms in the streets as all of a sudden you're running with your friends as they turn a corner onto one of the main bridges leading across the bay. You can see fire now starting to erupt from the windows of the Hoss Tower. Suddenly, your friends are stopped as stepping through teleport spells. Red-robed assassins surround them on all sides. Gwema and Relad spin around back to back. Relad pulls out his rapier. Gwema, you see spellfire beginning to dance across her fingertips. Just as a laughing figure steps out of a teleport behind all the assassins and chuckling approaches them. You can see that he has graying skin and a sallow face that is accentuated by the black geometric tattoos all over his bald head. He wears a red robe trimmed with gold. His hands raise as you see him wave them to cast a spell, and then darkness. Then, your boots echo through the halls of your home. You can see the lavish tapestries and paintings. You can see that they represent the lands of Darkhold and the castle itself. And you kind of just run your hands along them, feeling the thread count, feeling finally back where you belong, back where you can be yourself. Then you hear a blood-curdling scream. It's your mother. You run. You enter into the Great Hall, and you can see sitting on the throne, head in his hands, is your father Doran. He rubs his temples, his crimson eyes faintly peeking out from beneath his hand, as you can see that his normal perfect posture is slouched, as he listens to the report of his castellan, Gerard. My lord, her hunger is insatiable. She feasts until she is blood-drunk and then screams for more. This must stop. We do not know if she is dead or alive. This has to end. Ah! Your father stands up with a snarl. You do not tell me, Gerard. I tell you. Do not forget that. How dare you bring up my daughter? How dare you have the insolence to tell me to move on? I know what I did. I know I was the one to send her to her death. Aryan told me she was not ready, and I sent her anyways. Leave now while I still have the patience to leave your head attached to its shoulders. And with that, Gerard quickly exits the room. Your father then, with a heavy sigh, leaves his throne and ascends up the curving staircase heading to the dining room. He knocks on the door. Quietly. Aryan? Are you done? Inside, you hear weeping. He pushes the door open slowly. And inside, you can see what you recognize as a place 1,000 times before where your family has feasted together. What is normally orderly and very ornate is now disheveled and dirty. All over the walls are blood spray and bloody handprints. The floor is slick and sticky with the blood, and the smell of it fills your nose. And almost unconsciously, you can feel your fangs kind of elongate as you feel that call, that urge to feast, to drink. You see your mother, curled up in the corner in the fetal position. Blonde hair matted and pressed into the top of her head as she weeps softly. Your father approaches and tries to reach out a hand for your mother, and she snarls at him like a feral animal, And then she gets up on her feet and just begins beating into his chest. Murderer! She wasn't ready! She wasn't ready! She wasn't ready! And then just sobs into your father's chest, and all your father does without another word is just grabs her and holds her close, not caring about how dirty she is. You hear him call out, "Bring in another!" And a small little side door opens. In walks, or being led because she has a bag over her face, a small girl, about 10 years old. A hood is over her face, and as it's pulled off, she blinks a few times, and you can see that she has red curly hair and an innocent face. Your mother leaves your father and approaches the girl, and she says, "You look just like her." And with a snarl as her teeth elongate and the young girl's screams echo in your ears, darkness. Sin. You sit, meditating, and then you feel it's time. You stand up, you see your home, your tribe, all around you. You all of a sudden become acutely aware of the smell of blood filling your nose. You look down and you've marked yourself as if going to war. Fire, flame, and steel are all around you. Suddenly you stand in the shield wall with your brethren. They seem to have not taken notice of you, but you stand tall and strong. You see what draws their attention is an army of charging men. You brace for impact with your brethren, screaming war cries to your god. And as the wave of men breaks over you, you scream Talos' name and strike hard and true 100 times and 100 times again. You look down at hands and begin to realize that these hands are not your hands. As you swing with the strength of 1,000 men, cleaving them before you. And for a brief moment, your axe head reflects your face. The blood obscures the features of your face, but they do reveal two piercing, glowing blue eyes staring back at you. And then, darkness. The darkness dissipates, and hanging lamps illuminate the room of the interior of the shrine, while incense burners fill it with exotic scents and curling smoke. Cushions and reed mats cover the floor. Pots of blooming flowers line the plastered walls, and singing birds flit from plant to plant. An immense snake with iridescent scales rests on a heap of cushions opposite the doorway. You can see that somehow it is smoking a hookah. There is no hand holding it, and yet it holds it up to her mouth, and she kind of pulls on it long and lets out this trail of smoke. You can see that it slithers towards you. It rises to a height of about 5 feet, staring directly into your eyes as it moves. You can see that its face is remarkably human-like, and its tongue flicks before it speaks. And it says, "I am Saja N'baza. What do you seek in this ancient place? Speak truly, for I hear your hearts. I have shown you past and present, and now we speak of future." You see as she rears up to kind of listen, you see that the kind of snake kind of hood of like a cobra kind of flares out behind her. And you can see that kind of seemingly tattooed on these kind of flares of her snake head are labyrinthian and maze-like symbols. What do you do?
So, what I just saw walking through here, you said that's happening now?
She takes a long pull of the hookah again and kind of blows it out, and it kind of fills the room, kind of exotic scents. And she says, "Yes."
Vin sort of smirks a little.
There's this horrified look on Morthos's face.
Yes, Luna looks shocked.
Why do you look
You broke up for me. I only heard, why do you look so... and then nothing.
surprised? This is what she said.
Surprised. Because of the vision you showed me was true, that means that my mother is suffering from the death curse.
Human parents. Such fools to hide the truth from their children. They seek to protect them, but it is folly. A child learns more from burning its hand in the fire than being told not to touch it. Your mother was like you when she was younger. And she died like you could. Another long pull from the hookah.
How do we know you're not lying and tricking us?
She kind of hisses at you, and she says, if I wanted to trick you, or if I wanted to lie to you, you would not have made it to me.
I take a deep breath and I'm like, it doesn't matter what is going on with my mother in Waterdeep. We are here because of the Soulmonger. Can you tell us where we will find it to break the curse?
Yes. The toy of Eternal One. Yes. I know. I know where it lies.
And you know who made it?
I know anything. I have been watching you since you arrived here. Curious you are. Interested I was. The Soulmonger lies between the peaks of flame and the valley of honor. It lies beneath Omu, the sunken city.
And who created this abomination, this necromantic toy, you called it? And why? Taboos to the souls.
They are fed. They are fed to the thing that grows beneath Omu, strengthening its power, nourishing it is the soulmonger, until it can grow to consume the world. Another long pull of the hookah.
We will not let that happen. That is the most unnatural thing, and the balance must be maintained. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you're saying those souls, they are not just imprisoned, they are consumed by something that is going to destroy the world?
Some already gone. Their lights permanently gone out.
And who is responsible for this atrocity?
His name is Acerak. He has laid claim to Omu, or at least the tomb beneath it.
Does that name ring a bell?
Acerak?
For Runa?
Not really, actually. It's no.
What is he? A demon? A devil?
He is a man played at becoming a god. He almost succeeded, and still seeks it. Let me tell you a story. And as she says this, you see that the stone beneath your feet crumbles away, but you don't fall. You stand there. The ziggurat falls away beneath you until you are just standing over top of jungle, and the world seems to shift beneath you until finally you can see a city in the jungle. Beautiful. And all of a sudden, Saja's voice kind of echoes in all of your heads, and she says, Omu was once a jewel in Chalt's crown, built over rich mineral veins, garnered wealth in abundance. Omu in jewelry was coveted far and wide, and the city's merchants grew fat in commerce. And as she says this, you kind of go down and you're kind of in the city, and it is splendorous. You can see gold, emeralds, sapphires, rubies everywhere. It's like every street merchant is selling them. You hear Saja's voice say, to enter Omu, it was said, was to enter the gates of paradise itself. Such wealth brought greed. Omu's hunger for slaves made her rulers demand ever greater tribute from their neighbors. When their vassals couldn't pay in flesh, they paid in blood. Omu's feared legions marched across Chult. The Omuans' greed and hubris angered the god Ubtao, causing him to turn his back on Omu 200 years ago, long before he abandoned the rest of Chult. Omu's clerics lost their spells, and the city fell to sickness and disease. Slave uprisings racked Naomu, and its nobles fled in droves. And as she describes this, you watch it happening below you. You can see buildings light on fire. You can see hundreds of slaves revolting against their masters, literally pulling them apart and cutting them down. You see that they pull down statues of Ubtao, and the city falls into itself. With Ubtao gone, primal spirits arose from the rain to bewitch the few remaining omens. They disguised themselves as jungle creatures and promised great power in return. Ocean. Desperate for redemption, the Omuans tore down the last remaining temples to Ubtao and raised shrines to 9 trickster gods. The new deities were divisive and often cruel. But for 9 decades, the city folk lived by the monster gods. They built statues in their names and schemed against each other to assert their chosen god's dominance in what was now the Forbidden City. Omu's glorious past was lost, but its people endured. Such mercy did not last long. Omu's bloody trials drew the attention of a Serak, an archlich who wanders the cosmos in search of souls to harvest. The Serak, who is fond of death traps, marveled at the trials concocted by the Omuans. They inspired him to create his own dungeon beneath the city. A little over a century ago, a Serak entered Omu and single-handedly slew all 9 trickster gods. He then enslaved the Omuans and forced them to carve out a tomb for their defeated gods. When the tomb was complete, a Serak murdered the Omuans and sealed them in a tomb with their false gods, which you do see this figure wearing this strange spining crown, skull for a face, with skin stretched thin over top of it. He wields in his hand a staff that also has a skull with tribal painting all over it, with blue flaring eyes that come out of it. And you see that he sealed the door to this tomb and leaves behind a blackened obelisk. He says, "A Serak has resumed his," which was where he found the thing that his toy now feeds. And he brought it here for it to be born and to consume the land. "50 years ago, a brood of Yuan-Ti slithered into Omu and made it their home. They built an underground temple, and beneath the old palace, patiently waited for one to come and lead them. Not soon after, the evil warlord Raz, who had raised an army of undead to wage a war against the holy city of Mesra, suffered a terrible defeat at the hands of those who protected it, the Bare. He arrived in Omu shortly after the Yuan-Ti. He wormed his way into their favor and underwent a ritual to transform into a Malison. Before long, he used his wiles to become their ruler. Today, beneath the cracked and broken streets of Omu, Ras-Nisi holds sway and plots to bring Denda, the Night Serpent, into the world to swallow the sun. You will have to deal with him, should you want to deal with what is below. For Ras-Nisi has allied himself with Acerak. He protects what is above, and Acerak's traps and his dungeon complex protect what grows below. And as the vision fades, the stone kind of back in underneath, and you are back in the shrine. And the snake kind of leans back and takes another long pull on the hookah. And she kind of breathes it out. She says, "That is what your future entails. Should you truly wish to."
I don't see how we have a choice. We have to end the curse. We have to free all those souls. We cannot just let whatever that creature is that this lich brought here feed on all those souls, destroying them forever and destroying the world maybe as soon as the creature is, I don't know, strong enough.
Once it has grown, it will be death to everything, including the gods that lay claim over death. It will become them. It will consume them. Its hunger is ravenous for souls.
I clutch my holy symbol around my throat and it's like, not if we will finish it off before it can come to pass.
Oh, mortal. Curious beings you are. So weak, yet so capable of strength. There have been others who have come to me seeking the city. They did not fare very well.
Others like others?
Others like you. Strangers brought together seemingly by the pull of destiny. And yet they could not weave their threads together, and instead their tapestry fell apart.
Why don't you help?
I can't. I am bound here by a Serak.
Oh, I do not mean travel along. Is there any other way that you could help us in destroying Acerak and Ras-Nisi?
I can give you a blessing, an ability to shed one's skin.
Sounds good.
And to be more than what you were before. Is this something that pleases you? And as she says that, her face is like right up near yours, Galinden, and her tongue kind of reaches out and just flicks like your chin.
Yeah, it's great. Step back, just a half step, so she can't do that anymore, I guess. That does sound good, and I feel like you have a stake in the fate of Chult as well as us and everyone else in the world.
Yes. That is why I summoned you here.
So it was you.
Yes. I spoke to your angel friend and told him that I could help you. Pretty one who brings the sun.
Can I do a nature check on this creature?
Sure.
And I would like to do religion to see if she's from some kind of, I don't know, celestial creature or something. Oh, that's a natural 20.
Wow.
Experience
All
for all
right.
our viewers.
That is some XP for all our viewers. Let me see if I can do that quickly. Don't want you viewers to miss out on your XP. How dare I? There we are. All right. Excellent. And +5 for Nate, or for Galinden. I forgot I'm rolling for you. You got a 17. Okay, so you both actually do remember that this creature you've read about or you've heard about, it's called a Naga. And this one in particular is known as a guardian Naga. You know that it is somewhat of celestial origins, can be quite vicious if you try and antagonize it, but are generally lawful good creatures that guard areas, leading to their name, and that protect sacred areas and usually protect magical areas.
Have you seen anyone succeeding in ending the curse, destroying the Soulmonger, and defeating the alliance of Fresnisi and Azeroth?
All those gone before have failed, and their soul now lie the Soulmonger.
What are you guarding, besides this being a ancient temple? What else is here that you are guarding?
She says, just this place. This place allows me to see time.
You said you were trapped here?
Yes. Before, I used to be able to go out into the wilderness and commune with the land. But a Sarak has bound me here. He is powerful.
The man that came before us, why did he look so disappointed when he left your company?
Because I told him what he was wanting to hear.
Would you mind elaborating or telling us what that was? He's
He,
close to some of us.
he searches for his loved one, and yet she is farther away than he knows.
Morthos
Now,
is gonna roll up his sleeve and show like the tattoo with the black vein and ask her, we've been trying to figure this out with what's going on with me. Can you shed any more light to this? Am I being affected by the soulmonger?
not the soulmonger, but you are being affected by the thing that is being fed by it. For as its power grows, your goddess of death dies. Same with you, lady who worships the one who judges all. Has not your spells been failing you? Have you not felt distant from your God?
That is
He
true.
is being bound as well.
Is it all the gods of death, or is it other
Yes,
gods?
the Atropol seeks to replace them all.
The what now? Atropol?
Mhm. That is all. Otherwise, it would ruin the surprise.
Would any of us have ever heard of the Atrabal?
No.
Not even like Morthos and his studies?
No. And this being because you have Saja N'baza, that it literally found this thing floating in cosmos. So, rather rare thing to come across. As in, a Sarak found this thing, brought it to this plane, and is apparently incubating it with the help of the soulmonger.
Can someone get that damn lich a puppy or something, please? This is horrible!
Sounds like he's got a really big one.
An Armageddon puppy.
Well, if we have nothing left to do here, perhaps no time should be wasted on our way to Omu. What say all of you?
I agree.
I need to get
Yes.
home. Sooner the better.
Me too.
I have to save my mother. And my god! The whole order, the whole world!
Beyond all of our personal quests to save who it was that we saw in our visions, we also have the world to
Yes.
save.
And
Would
everyone
you
who
all
dies is
like
going to have...
a gift before you leave?
Oh, yay. Yes, please.
Anything that would help us in our journey.
And I mean, if we succeed, you benefit from that as well, right?
Of course. Who will be first? Okay. She slithers toward you, Selenia. You see her face comes right up in front of yours. She kind of sways side to side of you, and she is a rather large snake thing. And she says, I will give you this. And her long tongue slithers out, and you see it kind of lick up the side of your face, kind of up the front of your face and around. And just as her tongue reaches the last kind of point of the top of your head, you feel it just get itchy, like incredibly itchy.
She goes touch her forehead and rubs it.
Okay, you rub your forehead, and all of a sudden, peeling away with your hand is a chunk of your own skin.
She's like,
And then you feel that
do?
itch spread.
She starts kind of freaking out just a little bit. Starts going a little scratching at her head.
Okay, as you pull, you guys watch as all of a sudden, like a mad woman, Selenia seems to literally be peeling her own skin off. Selenia, you actually begin to be able to like grab your skin and stretch it off, almost as if you're shedding it. Those watching, you can see that underneath there seems to be like another Selenia. It's strange. It's almost as if she is like a snake shedding her own skin. And in fact, at this point, Selenia, it's almost mindless as you kind of pull the skin and stretch it so that the skin, the equipment, everything with it kind of just stretches and pulls off of you like a skin-tight suit until you kind of just flick it with your foot off to the side, this kind of pile of Selenia skin. Looking around at everybody else and them looking at you, appear fine, and you come to understand that Saja N'baza has granted you a blessing. And this blessing is the blessing of weapon enhancement. Meaning that the non-magical spear you had before now becomes a +1 weapon whenever you wield it. Specifically you, though.
Being the nature type, Nate was reacting like that, but more as a scientist, Galinden was like, wow. I'll go next.
She says, and just kind of licks along your neck, almost as if she's like drawing the line of where the blade would go, and then kind of licks all the way up, and as her tongue leaves again the top of your head, you feel that itch too.
It's kind of seeing how Selenia was acting and reacting, probably figuring out that this is that thing. I just go full bore.
Okay. So you guys watch as Galinden just kind of very quickly just kind of reefs it down off of himself. Galinden, your wisdom score increases by 2
Amazing.
as she grants unto you blessing of Valhalla.
That's permanent, or
Sorry, the
that's
blessing
until,
of understanding.
that's until you tell me otherwise?
That is until I tell you otherwise.
Okay.
They look the same though. Like
They look exactly the same.
Are they naked? Like,
Nope.
did they peel off?
Nope,
the
it's
clothes
like
and stuff
it's
too?
like you it's like they're peeling off an exact outer layer of themselves and leaving behind a new fresh layer of themselves.
Nice, clean version.
I cowardly check them over to make sure that they're okay, and with the toe of my boot,
They
just
seem
tip on
okay.
the skin on the floor.
I guess I will go next.
If you kicked my skin, I just want to act that it hurt. Ah! Ow, don't do that.
I make quick. Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. It's dead skin. Sorry. You're fine.
Curious how
Okay.
my horns will react.
Morthos, you step forward and she does the kind of same gross like lick on you, and you feel the same itch, and you pull yourself through the nastiness, shedding your skin and leaving behind your new blessed Morthos. And she tells you, "To you, I give the blessing of magic resistance. This will help you greatly, Morthos of the Arcane Brotherhood." So game mechanically, this blessing gives you advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects.
Are they like clean underneath?
No, they look exactly the same, actually.
So all the dirt transferred too?
Yeah.
I buckle up and take a step towards her and say, "Okay, I am ready."
She says, "You, the life-giving one. You are the most important. For without you, this group would fall, die, like leaves bleaching in the sun. To you I give the charm of restoration." And she gives you a great big lick. You peel it all away, but you realize that essentially she has given you a charm of restoration. This charm has 12 charges in it. And actually, as you peel the skin, for the first time, you guys, that Runa now has a new necklace. And it seems to just be the face of Saja N'baza, like the snake-like face that ends in the female face. It has 12 charges, and you can use it to either cast Greater Restoration or Lesser Restoration out of it. Greater Restoration costs 4 charges. Lesser Restoration costs 2 charges. And once all of the charges have been expended, the charm vanishes.
That's amazing.
That's so gross. I'll go next.
Sin pushes you.
I'm going. Don't push a
Okay.
lady.
She eyes you down, then kind of comes right in front of you, her snake's head kind of swaying back and she says, "I know the secret. I know the darkness that fights in your mind. It will test you It will make you feel weak. But I will give you a gift anyways. And she will, this time, interestingly enough, she doesn't lick you like the others.
Thank God.
Instead, she kind of wraps around you, kind of constricting you in a way, and then you feel her two fangs sink into your neck. And she pulls away, unslithers from you, and you feel that itch starting right at your neck.
Okay, I'm gonna use my fingernails to kind of like cut the skin so it peels off easier.
Okay. You do so, your fingernails being quite sharp in and of themselves. And she says, "You now have the chance to be stronger." Your constitution score increases by 2 as she grants unto you the blessing of health, in the hopes that you might be a little less squishy.
Yay!
Finally, the exiled one. You all your life fighting brethren, fighting with those beside you. I grant you that again. And she will lick you like the rest. And unto you, she grants the blessing of Valhalla. This blessing grants you the power to summon spirit warriors, as if you had blown on a silver horn of Valhalla. Once you use this blessing, you can't use it again until 7 days have passed by. Now, blowing a silver horn of Valhalla allows you to summon. Just need to turn to it. I had it marked and I lost my bookmark. So, summoning a silver horn, which is the one you have, basically, when you use this, you summon 2d4 plus 2 berserkers to come and fight for you. They work on your initiative. They are friendly to you and your companions and follow your commands as spirits from the plane of Isgard appear within 60 feet of.
Sin just laughs. It's kind of like a deep rumbling laughter, though.
Okay. So it's the first time you guys have kind of heard this very, very deep, almost thunder-like laughter. And she says, "There. You're all better." And she will actually go and eat all of your skins, kind of slurping them back and kind of.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Sin just grabs his axe and just waves it around like, "No, that's gross."
I'll wait for all of you outside.
Yeah, I exit. I make sure I say thank you,
I'm
though.
not-
Thank you, bye.
Okay,
Can I
so
ask
you all
where-
exit, or Selenia, you sticking around?
I just want to ask, which direction should we go?
She says, "You have a map, do you not?"
Omu's not on a map.
Nope, it isn't.
I don't know.
But
Don't know
it's
how to
in
read a map.
between the mountains and the plains of honor, yes? Can't we?
I take the map
Valley of
out and
Lost
hold it
Honor.
up.
And the Peaks of Flame. Yes, she told you it was between those 2 points.
We could travel that way, and
And you
we'll
do
probably
have that
run into
marked
a
on
city.
your map.
That is marked on the map. So yeah, we kind of, and it's a small area too.
So
All
we're heading
right.
south.
Before we leave the hut, I go through my pack and I have 5 blocks of incense in there from the priest's pack. And I give that to her and I say, thank you very much for reading our fortune and telling us what's going on. I noticed that you seem to be fond of incense, so please take this as a humble offering and thanks for your blessing. I also have some rations if you like something else, but skin.
She says, no, you all were delicious.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. And you all leave, yes?
Yes, I
Oh,
put
yeah,
the incense down and leave with it. Oh, look at my face.
Okay. As you all step back out, the hot, humid air of Chult hits your faces again. You look back behind you to a small, empty shrine. You can see through the other side of it. It seems like it's been abandoned for hundreds and hundreds of years. Looking down the steps of the ziggurat, there are no snakes. There's nothing. Looking at your hands, there are no flowers, no feathers, nothing.
Is the necklace still around my neck?
Yes.
Haha!
I'm not crazy. Yes.
Can I like
Yes!
feel around my body and like check for like, I don't know, do I feel different, like a snake's in there or something? You know, like, can I like give myself the once over? Am I doing okay?
Seem to be, yeah.
Are there any holes in my neck?
I'm scratching my head.
I don't know what
Why'd
everybody
she
else.
bite me? You guys didn't get bit.
I think it has something to do with the yeah, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's just not fair.
How do we get down?
I think we walk.
Walk down.
The
It
stairs.
looks totally harmless now.
I will go after all of you then.
I do the thing I did the first time where I kind of like put a foot down and kind of like step on it tentatively a couple times.
Okay. You do so,
Just march ahead.
and you all begin walking down the ancient steps of this ziggurat. Nothing stops you. Nothing holds you back.
I say to Ven, who's most likely walking beside me, because we tend to walk with each other, and whisper to her, what do you think how high the chances are that our elven friend is checking his pants for snakes right now?
Probably pretty high.
And then walk down the stairs.
Okay, as you walk down the stairs,
Check my
you
pants for
see
snakes.
there is no snake in your pants.
Oh,
No.
Well, yeah, let's not get into that.
Son looks at Gal and says, "What are you doing?"
Just checking.
As you make your way down, you guys do see a thin trail of smoke, probably 100 feet from the base of the pyramid, seemingly set up into kind of like two walls kind of jutting out of the jungle floor. Maybe they've used that as a kind of pseudo shelter, and you get the sense that maybe Dragonbait and Artis actually did stick around.
Surprising.
oh, I want to check out everyone's eyes. are our eyes glowing? Because he came out of that hut or shrine and was weird, and his eyes were glowing. Maybe the magic or whatever we noticed on him was the blessing?
Okay. You look at everybody else's eyes, and everybody else's eyes are not glowing.
Okay.
But he suppressed that glow, did he not?
I think it went away after I cast a spell on him, but I'm not sure if my magic is just failing because, or if he was really suppressing it, or if it worked. I'm at a loss here.
Well, let's go talk to him.
And I just realized what was said to me, and my hands start shaking. Like, did you hear that as well? That whatever is underneath that lost city is leeching the energy of the gods of that away and is hyperventilating.
I start like fanning you, like, calm down, calm down, calm down.
As you guys approach Dragonbait and Ernest, as you kind of round the corner, Dragonbait turns and looks at you, and you see at first his eyes kind of seem to have a degree of concern, and you very quickly smell this smell of honeysuckle, and then all of a sudden you kind of see him kind of calm down, and you get the smell of tar, and then immediately after, lemon.
Lemon was good though, right?
Lemon is good, yeah. Lemon, you get the sense that lemon means like pleasure.
I'm going to start setting up a tree lookout kind of lean-to thing in the tree if there is one.
Okay. As you guys begin setting up camp and everything else, nighttime begins to set in. Daytime jungle is going to be replaced by the night.
If I know my lore right, then the gods are being nourished by the faith of their believers, right? Or they are getting stronger. I try to convince all of you to join me in prayer. Because this must to act as a counterpoint against what is happening underneath Omu. I'm going to do this very, very long evening prayer.
Okay.
I'm in my trance.
Yeah. Galinden is just up in a tree just staring wildly out at nothing.
Apps are weird. I say go back to the praying area.
Since sorry, I have my own prayers I need to attend to.
Could do like an ecumenic thing. First we pray to Kalimdor and then to the Raven Queen, and then we do prayer for Talos. Like pool our resource.
A circle prayer.
See,
Casting at straws.
my God isn't affected here.
Well, if the world dies, then all his followers are going to die. And where is Talos going to be then?
Good point.
If Kalimdor fades, my healing magic will fade as well.
Immediately, Ven sits down and grabs Runa's hand.
I hug her and give her a kiss on the cheek. Thank you. Don't know if it will help, but
Oh, I mean,
I have
the
to try.
Raven Queen has been helping me so far, so might as well join in this prayer.
Alright, fine.
Oh,
Sin
join
lays
the
down his
prayer.
bongos and waits for his turn.
Look at Selenia. Are you going to join our praying circle?
Yes, I'll join.
Okay.
I don't know at what point into the trance they are, but if there is a chance that I can join them, I will. I'll do it quietly and respectfully and all that, and then if there
Probably
isn't
not.
though,
No. You're just
but-
off. You're just off in a corner, trancing.
sure.
Spacing
All
out.
right. So, Runa, leading the prayer circle, what do you do?
You mean what kind of prayer or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how do you pray? What kind of prayer? How do you begin it? How do you lead it?
We have gathered here to show our faith to our beloved gods. And I first say the normal evening prayer that I say to Calimbor. And then I look questioningly at Sin, who has been the most vocal, I guess, about his god. He wanted to write a pamphlet and stuff like that. And try him to chime in with maybe what his normal, or maybe you could play the bongos. I say, like, I'm just so, that's an idea that just crossed my mind.
Sin says, you want me to play the bongos as you pray?
I just finished my prayer, and now I'm looking at you. And do you really want me to say a whole sermon to Calimbor? Because I could totally pull it out of my.
No.
So let's just imagine that Luna said all the whole prayer, and then looked at you. So, are you going to do the bongo prayer now for Talos? Would you like to say something to the Raven Queen? I can give you Corvin to help you with that. And I hand you over my familiar.
Far as I know, like we've established before, it's either have to be a near-death experience or blood. So I guess it's safest just to give blood right now.
Okay.
So I take the dagger that Ven gave me, I slice my hand, and I just...
Which hand?
I don't remember which one I did last time. So I'm just gonna slice the inside of my palm on my right hand.
And the
Is
right
that the
hand
one-
is the one with the tattoo?
Yeah.
With the
Yes.
tattoos? Are you sure? Because all those, I don't know.
We'll find out.
Okay, so you hold the dagger, you run your hand on it, and you begin bleeding black.
Then looked away at first, and then does it smell different?
It does.
Yeah, then she turns and looks in it, and it's like, what the fuck?
I think we all look at it.
Are you putting the blood in some kind of,
Just letting it
I
hit
don't
the
know,
ground.
goblet?
It's not like running to anybody, is it?
Yeah, is
Nope.
it doing something?
Nope, just pools like regular old blood.
I put my hand on top of the. I guess you are holding your hand out, right?
Yeah.
Like this, and the blood is dripping down. I'm putting my hand on top of yours, and I get out one of the many vials of holy water that I've prepared since we came to Child, and I'm going to pour some of it on the black blood. And well, you are not saying anything, right?
Nope.
May the power of our combined faith purify us and guide us through the darkness that we are facing now.
Oh no, the book came
Oh, the book comes out. Oh no.
out.
It deals damage to undead if you spray them with it, so...
Does it smell like rotten, like old, nasty blood, or does it just smell different?
It smells like blood long coagulated. As the holy water hits the blood, you see it kind of almost sizzle for just a split second. And then it kind of conjoins together and continue praying. And at this point, Sin, because you're not just playing, are you just playing the bongos?
Oh, it's starting to sound like thunder.
So rolling thunder begins going out.
And originally he closes his eyes, but they actually open and they're solid blue.
That's the spirit! Invoke Talos! I say in
And-
encouragement.
As your prayer circle comes to an end, unless Daniel, you'd like to
Yeah, I'm looking at Selenia and waiting for her to invoke the
issue
sun
a
or
prayer
something.
at all.
Yeah, I'll do a little something, something. So, she's gonna pull out her prayer wheel, unravel it on the ground, and then she's gonna cast light. And her light's a little different than the normal light. It's like a little small sun, and she passes it in the middle of us. And then she starts I'm not good with prayer. We'll just say she does like a nice fancy little prayer from the reading from her prayer wheel. But
Okay.
there's like a bunch of her sunlight is like lighting up the camp. So maybe Glendon might snap out of his little meditation.
Not really. No, he just kind of consistently stares beyond. As you all finish your prayers for the evening together, nothing really seems to happen. You don't necessarily feel more content. You don't feel like you've been empowered. Maybe subconsciously it's done a little to you.
In a trance, is it sort of like a? Can you, like? I'm not exactly 100% on what a trance is. Do you commune
I
with
would say
nature
that
and
I
things
would
like
say
that?
that while you're in a trance, you are just in deep thought.
It's like a
For
deeper
me,
form of meditation.
yeah, for me,
Right.
the trance is that, you actually do mental exercises in there. You actually do kind of think about your day and think about your skills and think about what you're going to do forward and kind of plan that. And because it's, for lack of a better term, the way I kind of see Elf trance is it's kind of like Sherlock Holmes when he's
Memory
very
palace.
much trying to figure things out and in his memory palace. It just becomes, you just block out everything else around you. Especially for you being a wood elf, it's nice being in a tree, with the sounds of nature around you. That kind of helps center yourself and put yourself in the mind palace.
So I could be reflecting on the previous day here and what we went through at Orolunga, the climb up and the climb down, the encounter with the Naga. I can be sort of ruminating and trancing on that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
In fact, that's what you as elves learn to do with time, and that is why you become kind of so good at the things that you do become good at, is because essentially you never stop thinking about things ever.
Right on.
I'm still having a hand on Mortus's arm, and I say, I wonder if the charm would break the connection to the curse, or would at least make you feel a bit better because it's getting closer to your vital organs.
I don't want us to I don't want to say use such a gift and then come to a conclusion where it probably won't help with anything, but I also don't want to wait until it's too late.
Yes.
So I won't affect your decision on this. This will be solely up to you, whether to hold on to this blessing until later or to expend one of its uses for me.
Can I do, I don't know, a medicine or religion check to see if this would help him?
Roll a medicine check.
Okay. That is an 18.
So you remember using lesser restoration
Yes.
to
But
try.
my magic was fading, so, or is
And-
fading maybe.
Your magic was failing and everything, and it did go away a point. But you get the sense that, especially with the revelation, that your gods are essentially going to end up being consumed and their powers are weakening, you get the sense that until the soulmonger is destroyed, that will consistently remain.
Okay. So it would most likely not help or not remove it.
It might remove it for a few days, but then it would
Mm.
come back kind of with a vengeance.
Okay. I think you might be right that it might not help in the long run, so I will save it, and if it gets too close, I will try to stave it off to give us more time.
Sounds like a better plan.
Okay.
Thank you, Runa.
You're welcome. I'm so sorry that I can't really heal you and have to leave you in this state. Pains me to leave you like that.
There are things that I've noticed in this world that are absolutely out of our control. And my inheritance are the gods, and Soulmonger with the Atropol, and at least we can come to some sort of conclusion and draw a conclusion from everything that's going on.
I think the good thing is that we are not sitting back and waiting. We are trying to improve the world by being here in this miserable jungle, doing our best to break this curse.
Yeah? Makes me think
Okay.
of a philosophy book I read. But
Oh,
I'll
you
get
have to
into
tell
it.
me about that.
Oh, some other time.
While they're having their conversation, Ven's kind of just sitting by the campfire with her mage hand, holding up a piece of paper while she writes her letter to her parents.
Okay. Probably furiously writing.
Yeah, she's a bit worried.
Understandably so.
So, as you all go to bed,
I'd like
thinking
to
of
hunt while everyone's sleeping. That's
Should
why
we talk to Ardis and and try to paint? We just hijacked their camp.
They
having
don't seem very
prayers.
talkative.
No, that's true.
they don't mind. Artis is very much keeping to Dragonbait has never talked.
I invited him to pray as well.
Dragonbait
Very
actually
nice.
would have joined you.
Cool.
And Dragonbait would have sat down and actually been very respectful, interestingly enough, during all this. And you can actually, during the entire ritual, you would have smelt thick wood smoke.
Is that like the smell of reverence? Or
You get the sense that maybe so. Reverence, devotion, piety.
is he like a cleric himself, or maybe a paladin? Or no, he's not a monk, right? He was wearing armor. Or at
No,
least-
he doesn't wear armor. Well, not visible armor. If he does wear, it's underneath his clothes. He has a shield, and he does have a rather nice-looking sword that he owns. Artists, during your prayer circle, would have completely avoided it. And Galinden, when you wake up after everybody's, well, when you kind of shake the trance off, and after everyone has kind of gone to bed, you can see that Artis sits with his back to you in the moonlight. He's kind of framed in the moonlight, and you can see that his hands are in front, and he seems to be playing with something, and his gloves are on the tree trunk he is sitting on beside him.
And I'm still up in the tree, right?
Yep.
Can I stealth my way behind him? And so I don't disturb whatever he's playing with.
Sure. Roll a stealth check. What's your modifier? Because I just remembered I have to roll for you.
It's +5.
He rolled a 2. So he hears you approaching, unfortunately. You step on a branch and kind of shit as it cracks underneath your feet. And you see him very quickly. He grabs up his gloves. Whatever he was playing with seems to just very quickly disappear, and he puts his gloves on and turns around to you. He says, I didn't know anybody else was awake. I'm sorry for bothering you.
Oh no, you weren't bothering me. I'm sorry I disturbed you. What secrets do you have? We're camping with you. This group before me, seems to trust you because you helped them. What was it you were playing with? And why? What's the importance of your gloves? What's wrong with your hands?
He says, oh, my hands just get cold from time to time.
In this weather? In Chult?
And he says, look, I've skirted around it with the rest of your friends here. And it's best you don't.
I think it's best they don't know. But I think in the interest of their safety, one of us should know. If you're going to even be on this island. From what I've heard, the destruction of some ice mage. If that's you, we need to be aware of your power and ability.
Okay, I'm going to make you roll a persuasion check. What is your modifier for persuasion, Mike?
It's a big old 0.
All right. Let's see. Rolled a natural 20, Nate.
Thanks, man.
All right. So that is plus 10 to our viewer. And he kind of sighs very, very heavily. And he says, look, I suppose I can trust. And he pulls his kind of gloves off, finger at a time. And he pulls his hand off. Oh, the glove hand. I love how all of you were just, none of you really questioned that my words. That's what this campaign is doing to all of you.
I only say zombie tongue spaghetti slurping.
And he kind of plays with something on his finger. And you don't really see anything until all of a sudden you start to see a golden ring around his finger. And the golden ring is permanently shrouded in ice. And with that, we're going to take a quick 5 to 10 minute pee break. So my lovely host, quickly go to break. Stay tuned, guys. Way more crazy stuff still to come as we continue Tomb of Annihilation. We'll see you in a bit, folks. Artis had revealed a ring to Galinden. So, what would you like to say, Galinden?
That is definitely no ordinary ring.
No. No, it isn't.
Where did you come by this thing?
He says, I found it here. And that's where I met my wife, too.
You found this curious ring in this land?
Yes.
What is it called? I've heard of magical artifacts that look like this have fancy names.
He looks up at you, and you can tell that he's trying to gauge you. He's trying to
See if I'm trustworthy. Basically.
yeah, very much so.
Does he see the Emerald Enclave emblem brooch that I have?
He does.
Okay.
And roll an insight check as his eyes kind of glance over that. I'll roll it for you. What's your mod?
+4.
Rolled a 13 on the dice. +4 is 17. You're not quite sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing that he sees that symbol.
I can see that he's trying to figure me out, though. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. He has like fully, completely stopped talking.
Friend, they call you Artis. My name is Galindin Goltaroth. I am an Emerald Enclave member. For the past 70 years, I have tried to maintain the balance of this world, the natural and the unnatural. It has been my duty to make sure that the civilized world and the natural world find harmony, find solace and find trust in that. I've told you this much about me already, and I don't know you that well. You can trust the information that you give me is sacred.
It's called the Ring of Winter.
Does that do anything? Does that ring any bells?
Actually, it does. Only because you know that this ring was made by elves.
Would it be like the Ring of Winter, or is it
Yeah,
just
it
like...
would definitely be like, the Ring of Winter with concern in your voice.
Okay. How did you find this here? This elven artifact?
He says, I just came across it. It was just lying there in the ground, almost as if someone had dropped it. I picked it up, and I've been keeping it ever since. I used to live in the Sword Coast. But then giants came looking for it.
You've been jealous of the power it holds since its creation.
Well, I had a frost giant after me for quite some time. I'm a bit worried she chased me here. Her name is Droofy. If you ever come across her or any of her kind here, don't hesitate. Kill them on sight. They want this ring. They need it for their plans. This ring is powerful, as I'm sure you well know. I've been the only one to hold back the evil that lies within it. You know that mistakes were made when this was forged. You know that what resides in it wishes bad on this world. That's why I didn't want to tell you. That's why I didn't want to share with any of the others. I don't know if I can trust them. I had thought I could trust my organization, But I couldn't. And so I ran away, and for that they deemed me rogue, and for that they hunt me still. That's why usually it's just Dragonbait and I.
And what organization was this that you worked for? I'm not sure I picked that up.
The Harpers.
Ah, the Harpers. Your secret, like as I said, is safe and sacred with me. I do not wish the burden of being a ring bearer of this particular ring on anyone. You seem like a honorable and trustworthy individual.
Says I was like you once. I even had 2 animal companions back in the day. Their names were Bert and Lug. Kind of gets a smile on his face and he says, they were my 2 talking wombats.
Ah. I'm sorry that they are no longer with you. I know animal companionship is quite hard to deal with when there's a loss.
I've lost a lot. All my family is dead.
You mentioned the wife.
Alessandra. One day we'll be back together again. But I don't.
Are you here to destroy the soulmonger? Or are you here to run?
I'm here to try and get back with my wife. He says, you think I give a damn about this thing that sits on my finger? Like I said, I've lost everyone. And it's not out of fights. It's not out of glorious battles. It's from watching them die of old age and not aging myself. It's from seeing them pass before my very eyes. And I can't do anything but hold on to this fucking ring.
I do not wish to downplay your tragic past, but you should care about that ring. You will not find any solace in companionship with your wife. You will not find her again if you do not care about this ring. If you do not wish to...
I need her help to help me destroy this ring.
And you think the answers are here. You know what the soulmonger does.
Your friends told me about it. Something like sucking up souls or something.
And those that have died before and were taken back to this plane with ritual
My wife
magic.
hasn't died.
Yeah, that's all we need.
My wife is alive and well.
And it would go with all of the furniture.
I assume she died. I
And
apologize.
how high?
Then you must take extra care that if you're being hunted by giants, that they've followed you here to this already dangerous land.
Yes, it's like a
You
barn.
cannot die.
Kind of.
She,
Like stand up
if she's
to
going
it.
to help you, cannot die. I believe you need to take more extra precautions.
All right.
I suppose you're right. I'm gonna get some sleep.
Stay.
Rest well.
Let's keep looking.
I will go hunt because I have my long rest already. I'll hunt and try and get food for the group,
Yep.
but I'll maintain a perimeter so that I'm also sort of on a watch.
Okay. So you guys awaken the next day. Galinden, the only strange thing that would have happened during the night that was of particular note is something rather large and winged flew out of camp.
Our camp?
Yep.
I go back to our camp. and
When you go
investigate.
back, there's nothing there,
Like no sign of...
including Artis and Dragonbait.
Oh, okay. I'll just continue the night.
Okay. So, back to the next day. You have all awoken to the wonderful smell, actually, of grilled meats. You awaken to the smell of frying eggs. You awaken to the smell of fried vegetables and tubers, and you guys look over to the fire, and there is Galinden looking completely refreshed, cooking you all a meal. He's got a couple of dinosaur legs on the roast. He managed to catch a small herbivore last night, skinned it, has cut it up.
Can I be doing druidcraft and then having the weather in my hand?
Sure, absolutely. The weather in your hand, you kind of druidcraft, and it creates this spectral sun that lasts for like maybe a couple seconds and then immediately turns to black thunderclouds.
Getting oh god. Okay. Looks like the weather's going to be shit today, so eat up.
Do you have anything considerably less cooked?
My apologies. I forgot of you. No.
Okay.
Your
Appreciate it.
your best bet, Galinden, would be to send her back to where you had left the remains of the dinosaur in offering to nature.
There is a spot, actually, just a couple. It's like maybe 10 minutes away. You'll find it in a little glaive. You know what? You just stay here. I'll go get it.
No, it's fine. I can.
No, I
can
insist.
go.
I insist.
No,
I feel bad. I
I
was
can
preparing.
go. It's okay.
And this is awkward. Like we're both
No, she
going
gets
now.
up and starts walking. Like she's
Yeah.
already like leaving.
I'll just show you. I'll just show you the way. I'll just get you there real
It's
quick.
fine. I'll find it. I have a nose.
Okay. Just be careful.
So I get out there and I would like to try and like track a rabbit instead and just try and find a rabbit or something to kill.
All right. There are no rabbits in Chult.
Okay, well, anything small like that, like a squirrel. I think you mentioned squirrels at one point. Or those evil koala thingies.
There are squirrels. You could look for one of those if you want. But probably more likely that you would catch a small monkey, like a capuchin.
Sure.
Okay. What do you do, Van?
You're not gonna make me roll to like chase it down or anything.
No. I mean, you're hungry. You're
Okay.
thirsty.
She's probably like running through the woods, like leaping very like she looks probably like a panther. She's just very lethally leaping over things and jumping and like changing direction as she tracks this creature. And then when she finds it, she's just gonna like lunge teeth out, snap its neck, and drink its blood.
Okay.
And she'll, like stand up and like take her shirt and kind of like dab at her lips, make sure there's no blood. And then she'll like skin the body and bring it back and toss it on the fire and pretend like nothing happened.
Okay.
I
Van
noticed
comes
that's
back
different.
with a time. I want you to roll a nature check.
All right, I get a +5 for that.
London. You get a +5.
Can I roll deception, to, act like nothing happened and that there's maybe I took a chunk of meat off?
Sure.
That's a 24.
Okay. So here's how it plays out. You come in and you very, cleverly say, hey, I caught this, and throw it on the fire, and everybody else kind of like, oh, good job, especially probably Runa, who's just like, oh, good job, Van, just like, well done. Galinden, there's something funny about that meat. Your meat has like drippings and things coming out of it, but that meat doesn't. It's like that meat's halal, the bloodless meat.
I say nothing, but I observe. I actually give a look to Ven, being like following her as she like puts it down and walks wherever she ends up walking. I'm like, it's perfectly good meat, and you killed something else for it? Like, what?
I ate my fill, and she winks.
I got my eye on you. I got you.
Okay.
In the meantime, I have been eating. And for someone of average size, she's really doing a big
digging in there.
breakfast. Yes.
Morthos is going ham on some eggs right now. Like,
Sin's just devouring the meat.
I
We're
do have
all
a
just
special
eating,
seasoning.
so just going.
We don't have any roast chicken, but it's a nice seasoning for the meat, perhaps.
It's sustenance.
Delicious. Thank you very much.
I'm glad you all enjoy it.
If you feed us, we're going to keep you.
I hadn't thought.
Okay. So you are faced with these decisions of what you intend to do.
What should we do, guys?
Yeah, I'm taking out the map. At the moment, it's not raining, so let's look at it before it's getting soaked. How do we get...
so you can see marked on your map, you can see that there are a number of ways that you can go to get kind of close to where you need to be. You are essentially directly west, I believe. Let me just check the compass rose and make sure that it's the way it should be. Yep. You're directly west of Mbala, 6 hexes.
Okay.
Okay. So you are really nestled in those Mistcliff Mountains at this point. Now, you can either take the River Taff down past Ataz Kahakla, which is marked on your map. You could go past that, skirt the Aldani Basin, maybe head down past Ataz Yikelwazi, and skirt the edge of the Valley of Lost Honor into that kind of area where the Peaks of Flame meet. You could go directly back to Mbala, head into the Aldani Basin, and try and figure out a way to skirt through those wetlands, and kind of head straight south from Mbala. Like I said before, you guys could head all the way back to Port Nyanzaru, catch a boat around to the other side of Chult, getting off at either Snapping Turtle Bay, the Cauldron, or Shilku Bay. Shilku is actually marked on your map, but is marked as a ruin. And cut up that way. Or you could go back to Port Nyanzaru, take a ship all the way around to Kir Sabal, and try and fly to the Lost City. There's lots of ways you could go, and it is entirely up to you to decide.
How are we on, how is everyone, I guess, on repellent and rations and things like that? I know that you usually cast a spell to get food, but how are we all doing on things like that? Should we go back to a port?
I think on rations we are pretty good because we didn't use much of them. Our problem was more the water. Drinkable water was a great problem.
As well as the repellent, I feel like we're probably pretty low on.
Yeah.
I myself am pretty low.
I had 2 gourds and 20 blocks of incense that I was carrying around.
I'd say you're probably down 1 gourd and 10 blocks.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a salve gourd, I think, too, that I picked up.
Yeah,
That I
you're
probably haven't been sharing.
Yeah, probably not.
And I still have 20 rations left because I've been casting spells ever since.
Yeah, I have 11 myself.
Say we go to Pierce the Ball.
If it took
Sen
us this
agrees.
long and we used all of that, we could kiss about by Port Nyanzaru, right? To restock.
You
Yeah,
could
we
take a
can.
boat from the port.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
go
we
down the river.
We could also go back to Camp Vengeance. There is a river that leads to Port Nyanzaru, if I remember right. It's how they were evacuating. Maybe there is a boat left, and so we
We'd
just
have
have to go back
upstream,
there.
though.
We would have to go upstream.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
You would actually be going downstream.
Oh,
Yeah, interestingly enough, as you discovered when you went up the river to Riki towards Firefinger, the rivers run so slow because they're so wide that actually going up and down is pretty much the same speed.
okay. Well, that's probably our best bet then.
All right, so back to Port Nyanzaru, hey?
And then we're gonna go get flight, right? We're gonna go to
Also-
Pearson.
Totally.
I-
I'm so
I'm-
down for that.
And also, I'm not defeatist or anything, but if several crews of adventurers have tried to break the curse, maybe we are not the first group that Sindra Sylvain has sent out. Maybe we should, I don't know, give the information to higher authorities what exactly is going on. Maybe they can also give us, I don't know, some form of help in order to get rid of the Lich and Rasnisi and the creature that is being fed, that is feeding on the souls. And in case that something happens to us on our way, I mean, it would be good for the. I'm not saying that there's going to be another group, but if there is another group, it would be good if they don't have to travel through all of Child and then all the way back to discover something we just found out, right? So let's spread the information.
I like that idea.
You know what? You know what?
So,
Tahina, I am giving you an inspiration point for the most skilled way I've ever seen skirt around metagaming saying, hey guys, our party might die. We should go back. So an inspiration point to you. Dude.
I mean, I want
Very
to
nice.
save the world. Oh my
So
god.
hilarious.
The How to Survive Chult Handbook 101.
Yeah.
Volume 1.
As written by Runa Rikastatier.
Edited by Morthos.
Yeah.
Do any of you have an issue with me reporting into the Emerald Enclave about the things that I found out so far?
I mean, I'm going to give the information to the Church of Kalimvor and basically to the Harpers because Sindra Sylvain she is the one who gave us the this quest, right?
Right.
We
Please.
I would be wary about the Harpers. They're not who they seem to be.
Please keep my true nature from the people of the town. They don't seem to care for my kind.
I understand.
Interestingly enough, Runa, when you talk of Sindra Sylvain, it dawns on you that she was struck by this curse too.
I know that's why she gave us. That's why she sent us here and teleported us here, right?
But you don't know how much longer she has left. is
Oh
what
yeah,
was
I know.
correct.
I know. Believe me, Runa is very aware.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, I know that. In her mind, every time something dies, it's being sucked in it. That's why she was pushing as fast as she was through the jungle. And that's why she's also worried that something might happen to them and someone else is going to take the same amount of time searching for clues that are... this was not so much meta as really a concern of hers.
Okay. Okay.
also, back at when we saw the seer, I had a vision of my mentor. He was actually coming here. He was coming to Port Nyanzaru, and I think he might have a ship we can use.
Wouldn't that be fortuitous then?
Yeah. So I think if we go back, I can maybe find him, see if the vision was true, if it was like coming up or recent. Maybe I can convince him to help us out.
Also, I think if we are in Port Nyanzaru, we might find someone who is knowledgeable about the ways of the Arakokra and can tell us if what that one that we met in Firefingers told us about them being able to give people the ability to fly is at all feasible, because I don't want to trudge up there just to be told that that's just a story for children and then we have to go all the way back and sail around, right?
Yeah, but I feel like that's something they wouldn't be telling people.
Yeah.
So they might.
Let's just find out
might have just
what
told
the
us.
process is.
And I think we should talk to the merchant prince.
Yeah.
What was his name again?
Akanga Utamu.
Very good.
I'm also looking for alchemical arrowheads so that I can have fire arrow or something like that. So maybe Port Nyanzaru might have the alchemists needed.
And we learned that there is some kind of tomb filled to the brim with traps underneath the city. So maybe we should find someone who is, I don't know, skilled in disabling traps. Or because I don't know anything about traps, I don't know about you, but so far we haven't encountered. Have you encountered traps? No, we don't. We haven't encountered any, and it would be good to have someone. I don't want the same thing to happen as it happened with Asaka, but
Yeah, we try to hire somebody.
yeah, we should hire someone maybe. Maybe we can find someone who knows his or her way around the Lost Valley. What was called Lost?
The Lost City, Omu.
The Valley of Lost Honor. That's where we have to pass
Yes,
through
that
to
was
get to the
Lost
city, right?
Yep.
So maybe if we can find someone who knows their way around that part of the jungle, so we don't traipse around looking for that forgotten city. And I want to buy Yuan tea repellent. If that's something like that in Port Nyanzaru.
Okay. So the plan's set. Head back to Port Nyanzaru, resupply, go from there. So for the sake of the story and for the sake of brevity and for the sake of not making you drag 9 days through the jungle, we are going to fast play those 9 days back to Camp Vengeance.
Montage!
Basically a montage, you guys having basically been able to turn around, locate your way back through. You pass by Mbala knowing that nothing remains there but the dead. You once again see the beautiful area of the Aldani Basin with the very Jurassic Park-esque view, dinosaurs grazing, the theme music playing in the background, everything else. You do not see that floating earth chunk, indicating that it does indeed move.
Is that shipwreck still there in the jungle?
The only shipwreck, yeah, you can't, you imagine it's still there because you can't see it. The only way you would is if you climbed up to the top of Mbala. If you want to say that during your travels you kind of did that, yeah, indeed, it is still very much there. But you know, you think maybe let's not get distracted by that, and you arrive back at Camp Vengeance, looking very much not like you left it. All of the tents are gone. All of the supplies are gone. The walls still stand, and the gates are closed, but you don't think you see any living individuals still left. Interestingly enough, it does seem to have a certain degree of guards, as a number of zombies have been impaled on spikes, and some are kind of trapped on these spikes, and so they just every once in a while just kind of just kind of look around as you guys approach. There is no sign of any life here.
Can I light the zombies on fire with my torch?
Yeah. Martus, would you be so kind?
Create bonfire.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so together with create bonfire and a torch, you guys end the suffering of these zombies. And you're here. Gonna
And
have
it's
to walk
nighttime?
up the river, maybe. Yeah, well, let's say it's probably late evening, so enough sun to kind of be around and see, but other than that,
Are
There
there
are no
boats
boats
left?
left behind.
roll a perception check. Then, if Runa, you're proficient in perception, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you
I can
totally
aid
are.
her.
You can aid her, granting advantage on this roll. Then,
Still a 12.
still at 12. Okay, Runa, with your passive perception and helping Van and everything else, and the fact that it is quite easy to spot because of its bright coloring, you see hanging off of a tree not too far away is a scrap of pink cloth. Hot pink, in fact.
Okay. I point that out when, hey,
Oh no. That looks like Mr. T's underwear.
okay, I'm going to investigate.
Okay, you go over, and indeed you do see that there is a small square of what appears to be Mr. T's underwear cut up and like purposefully tied around the tree branch.
Okay. Is there something hidden in the tree, behind the tree, around the tree?
Roll an investigation check.
Are there any other scraps on other trees?
Roll a perception check.
That's a
That's a
12.
5.
Okay. It doesn't take you very long because Mr. T himself is not entirely proficient in being able to hide things that cleverly. But you do find, after a time, it doesn't take you very long to pull aside some branches, and you find 2 canoes left for you by your friend Mr. T, knowing that perhaps you guys could be coming back this way.
Hey! That's perfect. 2 canoes.
Found some canoes. Excellent job.
Oh, yes. Our former companion must have hidden them for us.
Oh, the dwarf.
Yes.
Oh, excellent, man.
Oh,
Are we going to rest here tonight and then head out in the morning, or?
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
You said the gates were closed.
Yep.
Can I walk up to them and try and open them?
Sure. They just push right open.
Should probably camp in here.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So could they save most of the people? I'm going to take a look around the camp where the healer's tent was and stuff like that. To see if they evacuated everyone.
Okay, you go to the healer's tent, and Nearby, where you can see where the healer's tent was, as very disturbingly, you can see that where the tent sat has been like stained red from just the amount of blood leaching into the ground. But right next to it, you can see is a rather large pile of ash.
I see.
I want to grab Sin, since he's the only really strong one in the group, and try and Sin, we should barricade this gate. It just pushes open, and it's clearly been attacked recently. Can you help me find something big to block the gates?
Yeah, I can help that.
So, look, I don't know if it's got like I don't know what it's called, but the place where you put the like bars in the back of the gate door. I don't know if it has. Yeah, I don't know if it has one of those.
It kind of does. It's a little bit out of repair, but it won't take you very long, about an hour between the two of you to at least somewhat wedge a kind of piece of wood into it so that it doesn't sit pretty, and it might take you a bit to kind of get it out, but you essentially force the door closed. Now, it won't make for a quick retreat if you need to, but it should keep shit out for the night.
Cool.
As well.
Could I head up to the captain's quarters? I've been here before, correct?
Right.
Yeah, the tent no longer sits here, but you can head to where they are, or where they were. Like, it is just empty in this camp now.
I'll start setting up like a lean-to or something.
Okay.
Something elfy.
Something elfy. Okay. And as long as nobody else has anything they wish to do, you will go to sleep in the now abandoned.
And we put out guards, right?
Yeah, I'll take like first watch.
I can take second and then everything else after that, because I can do that trance. So give me 4 hours and then I'll take watch for the rest of the night. I'll come back with breakfast.
I'll split that first 4 hours with Selenia.
Cool.
Sounds good. I'll like walk like the guards walkway, like up on top of the gate.
Mm-hmm. You guys stand watch. Nothing happens. Next day, you leave Camp Vengeance behind. And you travel 3 days up the river. This is just all so that it doesn't drag. And you arrive at a place that you've never seen before. It is marked on your map. You know that this place is marked as Camp Righteous. You can see that it's an abandoned riverside camp, still strewn with wreckage. You imagine both from when it was a functioning camp and from maybe when your friend Mr. T stayed here with the last of the evacuees. The tents are moldy and tattered, and all the permanent structures here appear to have burned to the ground. 2 intact rowboats are tied off to a short dock. North of the camp is a ridge built into which is an 80-foot-tall stone statue carved to look like a man with a crocodile on his back. Between the statue's feet is a stone archway leading to a dark tunnel. To the left of the statue is a crude animal pen with a small panicked bird running around inside of it. There are no other signs of life.
That rings a bell, right? A man with a crocodile on his back? There was some kind of story that we... Have you heard it in... I can't remember. Have you heard it in Port Nyanzaru? Or?
Um,
Can I roll to remember?
Wakongo
think-
Otamu might have told you this story. He might, but I'm not sure.
I don't remember anything about crocodile.
Does this have anything to do with the
I-
trickster
Roll a
god?
history check, anyways, Runa.
Wasn't it Asaka who
Yeah,
told us about the trickster? About trick? I don't know. It has been so long. Oh, I rolled an 18 plus 22 on
22.
history. Hmm.
You know, you do remember one thing about this place, and it kind of, maybe that's where you're getting this, is that you do indeed remember that Azaka, during one of the many nights you guys had camped, she had kind of told you a random story, and most of you wouldn't remember because it was kind of something that you all kind of brushed over. You know, camp life had become kind of, you know, oh yeah, Zaka tells us something, and you know, most of you hadn't paid attention. But Runa, you had kind of found the story fascinating, being the anthropologist that you are, and learning culturally things of different places. And Azaka had regaled you a story of why man and crocodile were not friends. And it was this kind of kiddish story that she had told you, that in the early days of the world, man stood by the banks of a river, frightened. Crocodile raised his head from the water and asked, "What troubles you, cousin man?" Man said, "I must cross this river, but I fear to enter it alone because it teems with your brethren." Crocodile replied, "It's true, you would not be safe, but I will carry you across the river safely on my back, if you promise to return the favor." Man agreed, and Crocodile bore him safely across the river. When they reached the far bank, Man asked, "How can I repay you?" Crocodile replied, "I wish to see the realm of the humans, but I fear to go there alone because it teems with your brethren. You must carry me on your back across the realm." Man had been tricked, but a promise was a promise. So he carried Crocodile safely on his back across the entire realm of human, a journey that lasted many years. He also swore in his anger that never again would men and crocodiles be friends. And so it had remained to that day. And it was kind of one of those stories that Azaka had told you, and you guys were like, okay, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Kind of, you know, well, that's interesting. But seeing this now, Runa, it kind of floods back into your mind.
I distinctly remember a story that Asaka told about a man who was tricked by a crocodile to carry him on his back. I wonder why anyone would build a statue to this around this legend.
So that they do not forget.
But it's such a quaint story.
Do we have time to investigate this, or should we continue?
It's a good question. I mean, at least we could free the bird.
You imagine anything on the inside would not be long to explore. You could probably do it in like in like a day, maybe, and continue on down.
I would like to free the
Check
bird.
it out.
Free the bird, right?
Yeah, we should take the bird.
I like to stretch my legs anyway.
We've been in a canoe for like 3 days. It would be nice to walk around.
Okay, so because you guys are going to be walking around, allow me to share with you
I would
what you see.
like to Skeleton to look around for tracks. If the last tracks are we think that Mr. T and the refugees from Camp Vengeance have been here, right? So what if someone else came after us? And that's the reason why there is a living bird still trapped in one of those cages or whatever, or pens.
Is it possible for me to speak Sylvan to the bird?
Okay, so who's all going over to the bird?
Me.
I would like to.
The bird is over here.
Oh, I will go.
Okay, so Galindin, Ben, Runa, Selenia, Sin and Morthos, you are left behind. You guys go to the bird pen, and this bird is just kind of freaking out, running around. And interestingly enough, this bird has a rather cool-looking beak. Its beak seems to form into what looks like a battle axe almost.
Have we seen such birds in the jungle before?
No.
Can I do a nature check?
Absolutely, you can do a nature check.
I roll a +5 for nature.
You roll at a +5 for nature. Rolled a 14 plus 5 is 19. These are actually fairly common all over the world, interestingly enough. And these creatures are known as axebeaks. And this is a fledgling of one of those. So you're a little concerned because if the baby's here...
Where's Mama?
We also haven't seen any so far. Are they not native to this area?
You would guess that maybe not. Maybe they were brought here as mounts and or food.
Oh, so they don't fly.
No, they do not.
Could I speak
How
Sylvan
tall
to
is
it?
this
Try and calm it
thing?
down.
Sure. What exactly are you saying to this young axebeak?
Calm, young one. We are not here to hurt you. Where is your matriarch? Where's your mother?
Okay. You say this, and the bird kind of stops, kind of looks. And just goes running back around in a circle.
Good try.
Yeah, well, yeah. Elf things.
So it is still penned currently.
We should be careful, though. This is a young one, and its parents may be close by.
Could
They're
you,
gonna
Do
under-
mean it no harm, but
could you understand it?
no.
Well, if it has
We could just let it
parents-
go. Yeah, it could
Yeah.
potentially, or it could be alone. That's the thing. I would like to wait for adults so they can kind of care over it. But we have to
As
send it out
you
on its
say
own.
this, the jungle erupts off to the side as 5 adult axebeaks come running out, and they just kind of stop and kind of give you this look.
Can I take a step forward in front of the group and like kind of put a hand back for them? Slowly start moving backwards. And then in Sylvan, I'll just keep saying, we mean you no harm, we come in peace, we meet, and then slowly back up.
Because that
Okay.
worked the first time.
You see that the axebeak, the kind of lead axebeak, kind of steps forward. It squawks at you. This kind of kind of squawks at you, and then you see that it actually uses its beak to take down like a small tree,
Back up a little quicker.
and it like paws the ground, and you can see that it is very upset, clearly thinking that you've imprisoned the fledgling who is still running around on the inside of the pen.
We need to let it out.
Yes, let's let the little one
I
out.
let it out with my spear.
Okay, so Selenia, you go and kind of hit the latch of the gate, and the gate kind of very slowly just gives this like little open. The small little axe beak stops,
Does calm emotion work on animals?
gives a little look. The older axe beak kind of little axe beak kind of gets towards the gate, kind of nuzzles it with his nose. It kind of creaks open again. And it just and then like runs off, joins its family. You see the one kind of turn its back to you as if it's going to run away, turns back, gives you this like look, and then runs off.
Well, that was interesting.
We keep backing up until they're gone, I guess. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. As you come back, you see yet again around the fire that roars thanks to Morthos's ability to create bonfire. You can see that Sin and Morthos sit around the bonfire again, and Morthos is saying, "No, that's not how you play. No, God damn it!" As Sin just kind of hits the board and the cards go flying. Yet again, Sin frustrated that Morthos seems to always win at this stupid game.
I hate this game.
You just need to take the time to understand the rules. It's fairly easy.
The
It's like family
rules
Monopoly.
are stupid. This game is stupid. That squawking was stupid. Ah. I hate this
Interestingly
game.
enough, Morthos, you get the sense that like, wow, Sin is actually really angry. Like he's visibly angry at this. Like it is no longer just like a stupid game. Like his rage is borderline about to erupt. You can see that like all the hairs on his arm are standing on end. You can see like little tiny jolts of electricity kind of going up between them all.
Okay, Sin, how about this? We'll when we get back to Port Nyanzaru, we'll drink some tej. I'll teach you the rules when we have some drinks in us, because it's a calming game once you learn how to play.
No, I'm done with this game. This game, no, never again. I'm done. Don't ever ask me to play this game again. You always win, and I'm tired of it. And just fuck this game.
Okay, so that's what you guys are looking at from the outside of Camp Righteous. Now, interestingly enough, I'm just going to move Ven over here just for a second because I blocked. So there's the top-down view, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll into like the side view just so you can give an idea of kind of more what this statue looks like. So there you guys go. That's what that looks like.
Interesting.
That's neat.
Are any of you keen on going inside?
Me.
Yeah, Sin picks up his axe in his frustration. He just says, I'm going in here. Whatever's in here, fuck it.
Don't fuck it.
We should go after him.
Yeah.
I follow.
All right. So, Sin, you stand before the entrance of this statue. You can see that cobwebs string the inside of this cavern. Cobwebs and vines. You can see that it clearly hasn't been walked in a long period of time. You can see that inside, the ceiling is 23 feet high. It's rather large.
I bring out my hand axe to not dirty my hands, and I just kind of sway away with my hand axe, cutting away cobwebs.
Okay. And moving into the interior?
Is it dark in there?
Absolutely.
Can Sin see in the dark?
He's
No,
walking
he's
down the
No.
alley.
Okay, I'll follow him and kind of guide him around, wary of his hand axe.
Okay, as both of you make your way in, I need you both to roll a percentile dice for me, please.
$70.
70.
Okay. You, as you're moving in and hacking away, you hear a soft as a pit opens up beneath your feet. Both of you not being able to see it in time and falling 20 feet down
Shit!
into a pit, taking 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Do we hear them like scream?
Yeah, oh yeah, you hear both of them. Fuck shit!
I'm gonna run to see what happened.
Okay, you
Careful.
run and have to
Yeah, me too.
stop at the edge of the pit. And you look down. Do you have dark vision, Daniel?
Yes.
You can see 20 feet down, picking themselves up, dusting themselves off, are Sin and Ven.
You guys alright?
No, it hurts!
I can
You
see
need a rope?
that. Yeah, I have a rope. I'm gonna toss it down to them.
I
You
want
guys
to
see
look
anything
around.
down there?
Yeah, I want to look around and see if there's anything down here.
The only other thing you find are bones.
There are bones! There are bones! There are bones!
And you do find the other thing you find is a half-rotten, like, explorer's cap, like Dr. Livingston explorer's cap.
Huh.
Well, here, grab on.
She like leaps at the rope and starts climbing it.
Okay.
Like, fuck, Sin, let me out.
I was gonna let you go first anyway.
So you guys pick your way up, once again back at the edge of this pit trap. And now that you can actually see this pit standing back, you can see that it is 20 foot deep and 20 foot wide. And beyond that, you can see that now that your dark vision has kind of fully kind of clicked on, to say, and fully adjusted, you can see that there is a ledge leading from this level up to another level of this shrine. It's like as each level goes in, you have to climb up a ledge to get to the next level.
Mm.
Selenia, you should avoid this, I think. You don't do well with ledges.
I mock her.
Sure.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Good, you can go first.
There is a pit right in your way.
Oh, I thought there was like a ledge on the side of the pit.
Well, on the opposite side of the pit is the ledge that you're going to climb up to get to the next level, but you haven't quite spotted a way to get around on the sides of the pit yet.
Are there any buttons or levers or false rocks or something I can push on?
Roll a perception check.
I'm not good at that. 14.
14. Okay, so you don't find any triggers or rocks or anything like that, but you do see that there is a thin enough wedge of rock on either side of the pit trap that a person could maybe shimmy along, but it would take a little bit of nimbleness for sure.
If I take like a 30-foot running jump, could I make a 20-foot gap, or do I know that I don't have that within me?
What's your strength?
11.
Probably not, I think.
Hmm.
There's a ledge there, you said.
We're in like a town thing, right? Like a abandoned camp.
Yep.
Were there? You said there were like debilitated structures and stuff. Are there maybe like boards?
You would probably find some detritus wood. Whether you would find boards long enough to traverse 20 feet without being affixed to one another, probably not.
Okay.
Like you would have to have nails and a hammer to kind of nail two boards together to stretch the span of 20 feet.
Yeah.
Which, if you have those supplies, you can totally do.
You know I don't have those supplies.
Yes, I do.
Are you okay in there? I yell from outside.
There's a big hole.
Fine.
What if Sin jumps across it and holds the rope?
Sin, what's your strength?
20.
Sin, you would make it.
Okay.
If you like ran and moved at least 10 feet before jumping, you would make that gap.
Okay. Well, Sin's gonna try that.
Okay.
Are you gonna take the rope?
I'm gonna take the rope, and then someone's gonna hold the other end while I jump.
Okay.
Okay. Taking the rope. Sin breathes out, runs, leaps, lands on the other side. Sin, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, but I'm going to give it to you at advantage.
With a 11.
An 11. Okay, so you manage to like you kind of throw yourself forward and you just manage to keep yourself on the ledge. Above you, the climb to the next level is it's a 7-foot tall ledge, so just about like maybe 2 inches above your head, because you're a rather tall individual. So for you, it would be very easy to climb up this next ledge and look at the next level. However, right now you are currently just holding the rope.
And it was designed to help people get across.
Yeah. But now we've got to like jump into this 20-foot hole and slam into the wall on the other side and then climb up.
Tarzan it.
We can't Tarzan through a hole at the same level.
I'm gonna use Radiant, so
Oh, okay. She's gonna fly. Ben just turns and looks at her like, really? Now you're gonna do it?
Okay, so you guys watch as Selenia's wings erupt from the back of her body. Galinden, this is the first time you're seeing this, as her eyes burn with this holy light, and you see these angelic spectral wings erupt from her back, and she immediately begins to fly off of the ground. Selenia, how far are you flying?
I'm also gonna cast light so I can light up the area. How does that work? Can it move with me, or do I just put it in a spot?
You would cast it on like an object on your armor.
Okay,
So
I'll
like
do that.
your belt buckle or your shield could,
Your
on your
spear.
back could be light. Your
Yeah.
spear could be light.
I'll use the spear.
Okay, and then how far are you flying?
I'm gonna go to the next ledge, the higher one.
Okay. And just stand right on the edge of the ledge or go beyond? Because
Maybe
you've
go
got
beyond
30
just a little
feet of
bit.
fly movement.
Yeah, Just go beyond to see what's next.
So do you want to go up to the third ledge that's here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you fly all the way up to the third ledge. However, during your traversing of the second level, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw for me, please, as 4 giant blades come swinging out of the wall as you go flying through the hallway. What'd you get?
A 9.
A 9. Okay, you are going to take the damage from all 4 of these blades coming swinging in at you. You take 16 points of slashing damage as they cut across your body, but you manage to push past them, and you manage to end up all the way on the third level. Now, this level is rather interesting, Selenia. There is, across from you, on another ledge 7 feet up, seems to be a wooden door carved with a panel of a pattern that has 4 by 3 on it. Then you look at the door, at the floor. The floor has a pattern 4 by 4 squares. Each of the squares has a different animal carved into the kind of tile.
I'm getting Skyrim vibes over here. Okay. So I'm assuming the top and the bottom have to match or something. Can I do an investigation on how to solve this puzzle?
A perception check for me.
Is there a ledge over that pit? Like a small ledge that you can like stick your toes in, kind of.
Yeah.
Like to wind your way across the pit?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I try for that?
Yeah, roll a dexterity check, please. Not a saving throw.
Is the 4.
You can use the acrobatics, dexterity acrobatics check. For Selenia, you are just astounded.
10.
10. Your
I'm gonna shout down, watch out for the blades.
Your feet slip off a couple of times, Galinden, but it's like where your one foot slips off, but your other foot manages to hold you enough to get that other foot on, and then you kind of shimmy along, and that other foot kind of slips off and then goes back on, and it's hairy, but you get across. So you now have to climb a 7-foot tall ledge. If you want to do that, it's a strength check.
There's also a big barbarian over there that could probably give you a boost.
I rolled a
Yes, it
19
is
for
over there.
19.
19, you get up on the next level. Now, you did hear Selenia call back saying, look out for the blades.
Can I look out for the blades? Is there a roll for that?
As you're moving through, I need you to make a percentile roll, please.
63.
63. Okay, as they come out, as you do seem to trigger them, you can now make a dexterity saving throw. The one thing, interestingly enough, though, because you were looking out for them, Galinden, is you actually see where they are. Like, you actually see all of the blades. Runa comes in with light on her shield. Ven, you'll take 10 hit points back.
Ooh, thank you.
My dex is a 12.
Okay, the 12 fails. You will also take damage from the blades, and they will actually impede you passing through this area. 23 points of slashing damage to you, Galinden, and you are standing at the back of this passage.
Ow. I'm visibly bloodied.
Can we hear Selenia from here, or could she hear us?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Selenia, what's it look like up there?
A puzzle.
Do you have any hopes of solving it?
No. Where's Bookworm at? I'm talking about Morthos.
I guess I could try to get over there.
I heard some owls.
Watch out for the blades, I shout again.
Okay, so Galinden, you are
Like taking a breather. I'm taking a knee. I got messed up.
okay. You're
Runa,
over there.
we need less.
Morthos, roll a dexterity check followed by a strength check.
Can I see how badly he's hurt?
Galinden, you can see
yeah.
he's visibly bleeding. You're only 20 feet away from him, probably 25 on the angle where he's standing up on the other ledge.
Okay. Are those blades constantly coming down, or do they have a reset time?
No, they seem to have potentially a reset time and or a specific kind of trigger. Morthos, what'd you get for your dex check?
Dex is 13.
Dex is 13. You get across the ledge rather nimbly. Kind of reminds you, honestly, of running along ship railings and stuff like that. And so you kind of very quickly work your way across. Your strength check?
I rolled a 5. I have -1 to strength, so 4.
Sin, you watch as Morthos does the most pitiful jump for the ledge. Just this little kind of It's almost like a kid wanting their parent to pick them up. It's like that pitiful. It's just like
I look at him and I go, all right, fine. And I thrust him up.
Okay, make a strength check with advantage now, Morthos.
I rolled a 2.
With
Okay.
advantage?
Oh yeah, I rolled a 2 and a 3.
Oh god.
And I have a
Sin,
-1.
it's kind of hard to lift up Morthos at the same time as it is to keep your balance. I need both of you to make dexterity checks, please.
Fuck you.
Can I cast Gust and like push them away from the ledge a little bit?
Away from the ledge?
Yeah, because you're making them make dexterity checks. So I'm assuming that they're about to fall into the pit.
Yeah.
I want to cast Gust and push them away from it.
Oh, like into the wall, away from the pit.
Yeah.
I thought you were pushing them into the pit. That's why I asked.
No.
I mean, Sin got a 19.
I rolled
Okay.
6 on my dex check.
You can re-roll that, thanks to
I'm gonna use a different
the
die.
advantage that Gust will give you.
I rolled the exact same on that different die.
Okay, Morthos, you have no hope, and you fall down into the pit. Wow, taking 11 points of bludgeoning damage as you fall 20 feet down. The wind gets blown out of you.
We're not even fighting anything, and we're getting.
I'm saying, are you sure that this is worth the effort?
No, it is
At
not.
this point, it totally is.
For real. I look down at Morthos and I go, did you have a nice fall?
Yeah, I kind of just look at him. I'm like, you deserve that, and then I toss the rope at him because I have the other end.
I make my chainmail armor jingle and say, if you have trouble getting in and out and through those blades, I'm I have no chance to go through there. So I feel you will have to go without me. There is no chance that I have a negative modifier on dex and in heavy armor. There's no way that I'm going to make it.
Does
It's
Marthos
not
need
really
life
my
alert?
element.
But I'm going to send Corvin down to Morthos, and I heal him for 12 points. And then I snap my fingers, and Corvin disappears as I send him to his pocket dimension, and I let him reappear on top of our elven friend. And I'm casting Cure Wounds through him. When you allow the raven to sit on your shoulder, he just gives you a small peck, not to hurt you. And I heal you for 13 points of. I heal you 13 hit points.
Praise Corvin.
Yes, and then I snap again, and he disappears, and he reappears on my shoulder.
Very handy trick.
Oh yeah, familiars are the best. And I scratch Corvin's feathers.
He
Sin
just
kind of
kind of
climbs up the ledge.
croons against you. Sin, you go and climb up the ledge. I'm not even going to have you roll a strength check because you are tall enough that it is pretty much like, exactly that motion.
Be careful of those holes in the wall. That's where the blades come out from. I'm not sure what triggers the blades, though. It could be the
Thank you.
pressure of our feet. It could be something up above. I haven't found anything.
I will
Okay.
pay mind.
Can I look around more where I'm at? Where I am at?
Yes. As you all look around, all taking stock of everything, where you are, whether it's entirely worth it to be going after what may be in here. Runa, you're considering, you're watching as almost Final Destination-like, the blades eviscerating your body as you slowly try and make your way through. That is where we will call tonight an end, as you are coming out of the jungle, working your way back towards Port Nyanzaru.